Last week, I was given a book, How to Survive on a Teacher's Salary. And I says, you know, there's no way teachers don't get paid anything. There's no way anybody can make financial sense out of a teacher's salary. Well, can you believe you could support a family of four? You're about to meet a man who does just that. He's not only surviving, he is thriving. Take a look.
Half of all teachers leave the profession within 5 years because of low salaries. Yet teaching ranks as one of the top 10 most gratifying careers. Teacher Danny Kofke says a low salary should not be the reason to stop molding young minds for the future. And he's discovered how to stay in the profession he loves while living happily within his means. In his book, How to Survive and Perhaps Thrive on a Teacher's Salary, Danny shares how he's able to live debt-free, save for retirement, support a family of four, and live a financially secure life, all on a teacher's salary of $39,000 a year. And he says with smart planning, careful shopping, and diligent budgeting, you too can live well on less.
Danny Kofke is joining us now. And Danny, welcome. It's so good to see you.
Yes, you too. Thanks for having me on.
You and your wife started out teaching in Poland, and I understand within a year you'd saved $20,000. Is that the right number?
Yeah, 2 years. We signed a two-year contract. We stayed over there for 2 years, and yes, we were able to set aside $20,000.
$20,000 from living?
Yes, well, you know, the thing, living overseas, the cost of living was a lot cheaper over there. And at that time, Poland, it was just removed from communism about 11 years. So it was very, very low cost of living. But, you know, we had the plan. We knew when we wanted to come home after 2 years, we wanted to have some money set aside, down payment, cars, whatever. But even though we saved money while we were over there, we still traveled to 10 countries. We honeymooned in Venice. So, I mean, we really enjoyed our time over there.
How did you do that? It's expensive in Europe. Did you found some secret that the rest of us don't know?
Well, we just had a plan. And, you know, anytime we went on a trip, we had a set budget. We have this amount to spend. Okay. So we looked for hotels, you know, that were within that budget. We looked for dining, you know, eating out for things that we were doing in those, you know, different countries that would fit in, you know, within our budget. So I think that was the key, just having that plan and knowing, you know, how we were going to spend our money.
Would you travel around? Did you have a Euro-rail pass, or how did you get around?
No, I mean, we took a train to a lot of places. Didn't have the Euro-rail, but I mean, you know, we just would, you know, fly some places depending on where it was. And, you know, just kind of researched a little bit and, you know, and went with that. And we didn't always have to stay in a 5-star hotel. I mean, we didn't, you know, 2-star, 3-star, they were fine for us, especially over there. I mean, we didn't spend much time in the hotels. We're trying to see as much as we can. So, but just, you know, research and being smart about it.
The nice thing you had was a supportive wife. That's very important.
Absolutely. I mean, if you have one spouse moving in one direction and the other going in the other, very hard. But we both have very common goals. And, you know, even today, I mean, it's not easy raising 2 little girls and having Tracy stay at home. But, you know, I love going to my job every day, and Tracy loves being a stay-at-home mom. So at the end of the day, you know, she's like anyone. If she sees a nice purse, nice shoes, if I see a nice car, you know, of course we want it. But at the end of the day, we'll sit down and say, okay, what's more important? Is it more important for us to be able to continue what we're doing right now? Or is it more important for us to have, you know, that item? And it always comes down to we're both very content with our day-to-day lives right now.
When you came back to the States, what transition did you make? You've got this $20,000. Then what did you do?
We learned a lot living overseas that we don't always need, you know, bigger isn't always better. Where I think a lot of people in the States, you think you have to have a lot. So we walked everywhere in Poland. We didn't have a car. So when we came home, we had one car for 3 years. Sometimes I rode my bike to work, you know, but we were fine with it. We've started off in a smaller 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom house instead of buying, you know, the typical 3-bedroom house. So just some of those things that when we came back, we started, you know, a little smaller. Then, you know, we might not have, if we hadn't gone overseas, you know, we might not have seen a different way, and we might have gotten stuck in the same type of trap that a lot of people do.
Well, you got disability insurance. Your wife was pregnant, and you somehow wanted to be the stay-at-home mom. How did that work? You got a subsidy.
Well, there's an act, a Family Medical Leave Act, and it entails that you're able to keep your benefits insurance at your work, and you're able to take up to 12 weeks off, depending on your employer. But being as a teacher, you know, the large enough, you know, employer, that I was able to do that. So I stayed home for 8 weeks. We were able to, you know, still continue to have the insurance coverage on me. And then she ended up staying home, you know, the rest of that first year that my daughter was born. And but yeah, using the Family Medical Leave Act, that's something that, you know, I think a lot of people should look into if you really want to, you know, be able to keep the health insurance and able to stay home.
You also moonlighted a little bit. You had had extra jobs, didn't you? Other teachers.
Yeah, I mean, there's times that I tutored. I tutored a student after school, and you know, and earned some extra money for that. You know, that's the thing. You gotta, you know, a teacher's salary isn't that much. So, I mean, we do try to supplement as best we can. But primarily, you know, right now, I'm just a teacher. She's a stay-at-home mom, and that's...
You hit the jackpot with real estate. You apparently got into real estate in Florida when it was in a boom mode. What'd you do?
Well, we were born and raised in Florida. So after, you know, living in Poland, we moved back home. I mean, that's where we were. And, you know, at that time, the housing market hadn't taken off yet. And then, you know, we bought the smaller house. And a few years later, we were ready to move. In the summer of 2004, we got hit with 2 hurricanes. And we were ready for seasons. We were ready just for something different. Okay. So we decided to sell and move up to Georgia. But, you know, it just so happened that it worked out that the time that we did sell our house was when the market was very high in Florida.
How much did you make on that?
We made about, it was a little over $100,000 in about 3.5 years.
That's not bad.
No, I mean, oh, not at all. I mean, that was definitely, you know, a good timing for us. So, I mean, we were definitely fortunate. But, you know, we weren't like we didn't go into buying a house in Florida looking to flip it or anything. It was just, you know, we planned on living there. But after the hurricanes, and we were born and raised there, we were ready for a change.
Well, what about the idea of cash is king? You bought a lot of things on cash, and you played the coupon game. You did everything you could.
Right.
What tricks did you use?
Well, cash, you know, using cash only is such a big thing because you'll find you're going to spend less. A lot of people are tied emotionally to the green stuff. It's a lot easier to swipe a piece of plastic than to use the green stuff. And in today's times, a lot of stores are willing to negotiate a little bit and lower the price if you whip out, you know, the Benjamin Franklins, because they're getting that money right then and there. They don't have to worry about a payment.
Well, what about asking for free services? You said don't be afraid to do that either.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it might surprise you, but we're big football fans, and we get the Sunday ticket through our satellite provider. And 1 year they offered there's a package that goes along with it that you can get all the games in high def, and it was an extra $100 a month or $100 for that package. And I saw an ad that said, you know, if you're a new subscriber, you get this package for free. And I called up and said, look, I've been with you for 5 years. I want it for free too. Can I get it? I said, if you say no, I'm just going to cancel and I'll call you right back and resubscribe. And after about 15 minutes of being placed on hold, I got it for free. So, I mean, it never hurts to ask. The worst they can say is no.
You weren't faced with embarrassment. I'm going to be embarrassed if I ask for a deal.
No, because I'm going to save money. I mean, you know, there's nothing embarrassing to me about that. So, no, I wasn't embarrassed.
Well, you're still teaching. Your wife teaches, or she's staying with
She's a stay-at-home mom. She's been a stay-at-home mom. This is her 5th year being a stay-at-home mom. So, and I'm still, you know, in the classroom.
Well, what kind of salary do you get as a teacher? They aren't very well paid.
No, right now, I mean, it was great. This year I finally made above $40,000, but we've been hit with 6 furlough days. So that dropped down. So, you know, probably a little over $39,000 now with those furlough days added into it. So, so that's it. You know,
but you've cut back on your satellite fees. You've cut back on you don't rent. You own a house now.
Yeah, and we actually have a 15-year mortgage. We refinanced last year. We had originally had a 30-year, then dropped it to a 20-year, and then when the rates even dropped lower, went to a 15-year, paying like $10 more a month than we were on the 20-year because of the interest rates drop, and we'll have the house paid off 5 years sooner.
Incredible. What secrets do you tell people out here right now? You've obviously gamed the system, if I can use that term. You've watched everything you can do, and it all works.
Well, I think the #1 thing that has gotten people in trouble nowadays is they don't know where their money's going. I mean, obviously having a house you can't afford, fancy car, you know, that's going to get you in trouble. But I think it's those basic day-to-day things, $5 here, $10 there, that over time add up. Let's just say you eat lunch out every single day at $5 a pop. That's during the work week. That's $25 a week. That's $100 a month. That's $1,200 a year. Okay. You're probably not going to miss $5 at one time, but if you see over the course of a year how fast it adds up and how much money it is, and $1,200 a year on a teacher's salary, that goes a long way. Right. So I think those are the things I try to tell people is just understand how you're spending your money. A good thing is go around with a piece of paper and a pencil for 1 month and write down everything you spend. Then at the end of the month, you're able to analyze it. You can say, man, I can't believe we went to the movies 5 times this month, or we ate breakfast out, you know, whatever your expenses might be. But then you're able to see where it is, and then you can kind of cut back.
Well, it's an amazing, folks, it's an amazing book. I mean, this isn't just for teachers, it's for everybody. You know, how to survive on a teacher's salary, and how to make out and become fairly well-to-do on a teacher's salary.
That's right, that's right. And it helps too having a job I enjoy going to. I mean, I don't need some materialistic thing to make me feel happy. I get that contentment going to my job, and I enjoy what I do. So if I do want more things or more expensive things, I'm either A, going to have to get a second job, or B, get out of teaching, or I guess Tracy would have to go back to work, and none of those options right now.
Well, you teach autistic children?
Some of them are autistic. I do what's known as a severe profound class. class, so most of my students have IQs under 30. So I mean, it's but I learn a lot from them. I mean, you know, it keeps you grounded when you see some of the things that they can't do, and then I go home and I have 2 beautiful, healthy children. It's like, you know what, I really am blessed, and who am I to complain about anything?
Well, Danny, your book's an inspiration to anybody that's trying to save money and get by. And you marvel, how could anybody possibly do this on a salary of $40,000 a year? Well, Danny says how not only to make it, but to prosper. It's good to have you with us.
Thank you so much for having me on.
God bless you.
Thank you.
It's called How to Survive on a Teacher's Salary, and you can get it through cbn.com.